What is up, guys? This is like #1 here, and today, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm joined by
the Skyward Wolfman.
Thank you for joining me once again.
It's always been a pleasure to work with you, bud.
Thank you. Anyway, guys, once again, this is another Who Would Win, and this is another special. In fact, what kind of special is it? It's a Halloween special. Halloween is coming up pretty darn soon, and speaking of Halloween, the new movie is coming out soon. So, in a celebrated excitement for this, me and Skyward Wolfman are going to discuss who will win between the two most iconic masked silent killers ever.
Jason Vorhees and Michael Myers.
Oh yes, this is gonna be good.
You bet your butt it will be.
Now, as a disclaimer, guys, as I've not seen the original 15 flipping parts of Friday the 13th series, seriously, over 15 movies? That's ridiculous.
It is, it's a cow.
Yep. So, me and Skyward came to what decision did we decide on?
That we would use the remake version of Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees, versus the old version of Michael Myers from the very first Halloween movie.
Now, the reason we did this because reason one, we're pinning them as humans. We're not giving them completely ridiculous powers as their zombie / demons or / cursed counterparts. As well, basically, yeah, it would be not only time consuming, but just ridiculous to think of how one person could kill another. See how, well, Jason's a zombie in future installments, and Michael Myers is what again? Some kind of cursed guy?
He's basically a super zombie in the original.
So he's like Jason, again.
Oh, you're talking about Michael Myers?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, he's basically a cult worshipper that's basically turned into an unkillable bastard.
So, a guy who uses cult worshipping to make himself basically immortal versus an immortal super zombie. Yeah, you can see why we don't want to discuss that, because not only would there be a lot of debate, it would be very hard to come to a decision, seeing how technically neither one of them can die.
Exactly.
Even if, yes, I know they can be killed somewhat, but if you can literally come back from being what people consider being killed, technically that's not a death. That's just an inconvenience.
Yeah.
So, to make this a more fair fight and less time consuming, we're using the human variations.
And the reason why we aren't going with the original Jason Voorhees that was human and Friday Part 2 through 4 is because, well, he doesn't have a lot of impressive feats.
Yeah, and also, I know almost dilly squat about that version.
Yeah, they really do.
Well, to be fair, some of his powers or abilities is kind of explained in the game Friday the 13th. No, not the old one, the new one that came out for the Xbox One. But to be fair, no matter which costume you pick, yeah, every Jason has basically the same power anyway. So there's not much to be explained even in the game, which really should have a story mode and not just bloody kill everyone mode, like in Fortnite or the new Call of Duty game.
Or have these really weird, awkward screaming faces going.
Yep. But anywho, guys, so I know you're thinking, but Demon Sonic, I thought Jason was a zombie in the remake. Okay, just because he came back in the remake version after being killed doesn't mean he was a zombie. He probably came. Most likely he just didn't die. Either that, or he became a zombie after he got killed.
Or he could have just survived.
Yep, exactly what I said. He probably just didn't die from getting buzzsawed to the back of the skull. Which at first, I know you're thinking, that's impossible to survive. Well, then again, it's Jason Voorhees. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. So normally in my Who Win series, we give a brief summary of their origins, and then we get into the statistics.
Of course.
But before that, what's your reason why you didn't use the remake version of Michael Myers?
The reason I'm using the remake version of Michael Myers. No, wait, I'm not.
That's what I said. Why aren't you?
Oh, the reason why is because he's basically superhuman.
But how? Wait, now I'm confused. Why wouldn't that be an interesting fight regardless?
Okay, hang on. I meant that we don't ever talk about the remake by Rob Zombie.
Let me guess. He's rubbish?
Yeah, his movies are basically terrible Halloween movies.
Whereas the original ones are masterpieces?
Basically, yeah.
Fair enough. And to be fair, while some of the Friday the 13th movies, they are okay, but they're a bit cheesy. Whereas the remake one was, spectacular.
Despite what critics are saying about it.
Fuck the critics. The original ones, they were just dull. Like, no offense, sure, there's a lot of murder, but they're just dull. Whereas the remake one is just, so satisfying. Like, every kill he does seems realistic and not bloody bonkers or just so slow and boring. Like, every kill seems, like, so realistic. It's just like, so good.
Yeah, dude.
Like, and come on, in the remake, while he does start off with a sack face, he gets his iconic mask and machete.
All in the same movie.
Exactly. So yeah, part 2 to 4 is basically done in the remake movie, in a shorter time and done way better.
And also part 1 as well. We get the Pamela Voorhees get killed at the beginning.
Even though in the remake there's not really a showing of Pamela.
Right.
Which is rather weird. We get a reference to her, but we don't really see her, technically.
Right, we don't.
But enough of that. We are already almost 8 minutes into the video, and we haven't even started. So, let's get into this, shall we?
Well, let's go on right ahead.
Alright, Skyward, as you are my honored guest, and my best buddy on YouTube, do tell us about the silent, Captain's Log, Michael Myers.
Okay, so, Michael Myers was basically a young boy who was born into a nice family, but unlike any other children, he was evil at birth. He was the embodiment of evil within the Halloween series. One night, he grabbed a kitchen knife in his Halloween costume and killed his sister Judith Myers and her boyfriend. And as such, he was found by his parents and eventually the police to be sent to an institution to be overviewed by Dr. Samuel Lewis. But then, 10 years later, he managed to break free from the insane asylum that he was put in, and now went on a killing spree. That's it.
And that's it? That's how we get the origin story of Michael Myers?
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty brief, actually. Alright, so Jason's origin story goes as such. He was a pretty okay boy, born to uh Pamela Voorhees, I believe her name was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Pamela Voorhees, who was a single mother who worked at a camp known as Camp Crystal Lake. And seeing how she didn't want to leave Jason alone, she enrolled Jason in the camp. But there was one problem. Jason was deformed, like his head was physically deformed, and kids would laugh and pick on him for it because they thought he looked like a freak or they thought he looked funny. And they would literally pick on him all the time. But they wouldn't get away with it forever, as Pamela would always scold them afterwards for picking on Jason, as, well, it is her son, and as ugly as he may be, she loves him. But one day, something really bad happened. The kids, while Pamela wasn't around, pushed Jason into the lake. And unfortunately, Jason didn't know how to swim. And as soon as Pamela came to try and get him, sadly, she couldn't swim either. So she went to the counselors to ask them for help, but they couldn't be asked. They were in the middle of sex. So yeah, they'd rather have sex than save an ugly kid's life. Bunch of assholes. And then Jason went into the lake and was presumed dead by being drowned. A couple of years later, some kids arrived at Camp Crystal Lake, and Pamela sought her revenge by killing all the counselors who just let Jason die. Pamela then got killed by a surviving woman who was either. Now this is confusing. In the original movie, it's not stated that she's a counselor or not. Like, she can be and she can't be at the same time. It's like, I'm not even kidding. That's literally what they said, and it's super confusing. It's like, is she a counselor or not? Make up your mind. But I digress. Anyway, after Pamela got killed, the girl who killed her was on a boat, and out of nowhere, a deformed boy came out of the ocean, or sorry, not ocean, the lake, and grabbed her. About 10 or more years later, more kids came to Camp Crystal Lake, hoping to have sex and have fun. But oh boy, were they in for a humongous surprise. That surprise being a gigantic muscular figure who kills everyone who enters the camp. And later on, and no one knew who he was at first, but then one person managed to piece it together and knew that that only one other person could be alive after the events of what happened originally. It was, and only could be, Jason Voorhees. For he didn't die, he survived, living as a sort of hermit for a long time, while he was waiting to see his mother again. But after her death, he grew mad and sought his revenge on anyone who entered the camp. So he literally would go on a murdering spree on anyone who go into the camp. And everyone would always may not know who he is and may not actually fear him, but would know the legend and the tale of Jason Voorhees, the killer of Camp Crystal Lake.
Hey dude, mind if I add something to my original story about Michael Myers?
Do go on ahead, I do not mind at all.
Well, as soon as he got back to his home in Haddonfield, Ohio, he went on a killing spree and basically killed all the teenagers that were near his house until one survivor, along with his old psychiatrist, Dr. Samuel Lewis, managed to take him down. Then after that, he was arrested and put back into the institute. prostitutes until he was set free again.
Yeah, you think they would like bolt him down in like a coffin he can never break out of or something.
Yeah, and not only that, unlike a lot of horror movie characters, Michael Myers had no motive for killing. He just felt like it.
Basically did it for sport.
Exactly.
Whereas Jason, it's funny enough, he has a good reason to do it. He doesn't want anyone on the camp anymore. He's like, okay, I've had enough of you guys being assholes on my camp. Stay off it or I'm killing you.
Yeah, Michael Myers was basically like evil because he was born evil.
Now here's a random question. Would you consider Jason evil or just mentally disturbed?
Mentally disturbed because his mother was.
Yeah, but would you say he's insane or would you just say he's like angry?
I would say he's just angry.
Yeah, I wouldn't really class him as insane. He's a bit nuts, somewhat, but he's not exactly insane.
Unlike Michael Myers.
Yep, that dude is completely bonkers. Okay, is it just me or is every character besides Jason Voorhees a nutter? Like Freddy Krueger, he's insane. Whoever wears the scream mask, they are insane. Chucky, insane, and a murderer.
Right.
And even Pinhead, possibly insane. No one knows. In fact, every horror movie character but Jason Voorhees is literally nuts. Jason, like, the funny thing is, he has a reason to kill people. He's not allowed on Camp Crystal Lake. It literally says on the sign, keep out.
This is my swamp.
He's the horror movie version of Shrek.
Yeah.
In some ways, he's kind of the final warning sign. If you didn't read the first one, you'll be scared of the last warning sign. Him.
Oh, yeah.
He's basically there to say, the first sign gave you a warning. Now face the consequences. Get off or you die.
Indeed, man.
Okay, but with that, there lies a small problem. Where would they fight? Now, Jason has fought outside of Camp Crystal Lake before in many different series in the original. In the remake, not really. But if we were to use his different counterparts, like for example the Freddy vs. Jason version, he fought, well, basically anywhere he wanted.
Yeah, Michael Myers always tends to camp out in his old house in Haddonfield.
So they both seem to have a very big tendency to stay near their birth area, but they can branch out if they wanted to.
Right, they could.
So where should we put them?
I think we should place them on neutral ground.
Some random field in America?
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling out, or maybe a forest would be I don't know. Would a forest be a good setting for both of these guys?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a completely random forest, like neither one of them know about. Like maybe, I don't know, a forest in like, I don't know, the upper northern part of, say, Washington, D.C. or something?
Sure.
Because Camp Crystal Lake is, I think it's meant to be somewhere near San Francisco, isn't it?
You think so?
I don't know where it is. I mean, you said Michael Myers is from Ohio. I don't know where the hell Crystal Lake is.
Me neither.
I don't know where it's explained, but it's... Wait, where was the nearest city Jason went to? Well, okay, this is funny. Jason went to Elm Street pretty easily. Like, it didn't seem to take him that long to get there.
Yeah, it didn't really seem like,
And I don't know where Elm Street is in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Springwood, Ohio.
So wait, two places in Ohio that have random killers, and Jason's not that far. Do you reckon Crystal Lake is in Ohio?
Maybe.
So
Illuminati confirmed.
So yeah, let's take them out of their home country of Ohio and put them somewhere neutral, like a random forest, say near Washington. If I remember my American geography correct, there are a lot of forests near Washington D.C. Unless I'm mistaken.
Well, if Washington doesn't work, we'll just have it in any random place.
Yeah, just a forest. Let's just say a forest. Ooh, I know,
Right.
Redwood Forest.
Redwood Forest is on the west coast.
Still, that's away from Ohio, isn't it?
No.
It's not? Damn it! I thought Redwood Forest was like near San Francisco or something.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's far away.
Alright, I don't know. I know. A random forest in Canada. There we go.
Okay.
That makes more sense, because there's a lot of forest area in Canada. Okay, so we have the environment set up. Completely random forest. Now the statistics come in. So first, as always, is strength.
I don't know, Jason seems pretty strong as well as Michael Myers.
Yep. I don't know which movie it's from, but there's a scene where Michael Myers is like holding himself up by a bar on a ceiling, and he then lets himself slowly down with one arm. Like he literally, I can't remember the name of it, but he upper bars himself with one arm, like effortlessly, like as if he weighs nothing.
If that isn't like solid evidence enough, then there's one scene in Halloween where Michael Myers actually lifted Judith Myers' tombstone all the way to his house. And you know how heavy those are?
Well, the standard size tombstone is about 2 feet tall and about a foot and a half wide. And seeing how mostly it's made out of stone or granite, they could weigh easily about 400, nearly 200 to 300 pounds. They're heavy as hell.
Actually, at the size of Judith Myers' tombstone, it would equate to 1,000 pounds.
What the? Half a ton?
Yeah.
That is a heavy tombstone.
And what's more impressive is that he was able to lift it and then drag it all the way to Judith to his home.
Alright. Well, from the remake version, Jason seems to be ridiculously strong. Like, he can pick someone up by the throat and easily put them put them, easily above head height with minimal effort. Hell, he even lifted a woman he stabbed in the head with his machete up higher. Like, he stuck the machete in her head and lifted her and the machete up without her slipping off.
Wow, that is crazy.
Doesn't that technically defy the laws of physics? Like, if you start lifting her up and she's heavy, shouldn't she fall off the machete?
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe the machete is so blunt that it just got stuck in her.
Maybe.
I mean, he stabbed her, like only her head was poking out of the water. Then he pulled her up to about waist height. Like he was on top of a bridge, stabbed through the gap of it, directly in the middle of her noggin, and pulled her up to about waist height from the water, meaning she was either swimming or standing up. And he managed to lift her and the machete easily. Like, it looked like he didn't struggle at all.
And how heavy are the typical American women?
Well,
how heavy are they usually?
Well, he lifted an American woman and the Chinese dude who was in the remake. Yes, he's Chinese. I looked it up. He is Asian. But anyway.
And he's awesome.
Yeah. Because he's a stoner, isn't he?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The average weight of a typical American woman nowadays has been rounded up to between 150 to about 220 pounds. Whereas the average weight for a regular-sized Chinese man has been actually... And most Chinese people are pretty small in size, which is a bit funny. They're not very tall people. They can be tall, but they're not known for being very tall people. But the average size of a Chinese man nowadays is about 5'10", and they can weigh, and depending on their build, but if they're a regular build, like just regular body, and seem to do seem pretty skinny-ish, or just regular body size, I reckon he weighed about maybe a decent 200 pounds. And Jason just lifted him completely over his shoulder, minimal effort whatsoever. Now, I know you're thinking, well, isn't Michael stronger so far? Oh, wait till you hear this. Jason lunged his machete through one person, and then through the entire trunk of a tree.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, I don't know if it's because the machete is sharp or just blunt, but he not only went through the rib cage of a person, but the trunk of a wooden oak tree. That is some ridiculous strength.
It's from all that lifting.
I mean, most people... This is an actual fact. Most average body-sized people, if they were to thrust a sword straight into a tree, it gets stuck halfway. And a machete is way shorter than a sword. Well, the standard size sword. The longest machete there's ever been is almost nearly 2 feet tall, and Jason has a pretty big one. So yeah, he is ridiculously strong.
He is, man.
Like, not only that, he's apparently strong enough to lift someone while in a sleeping bag, easily hang him over a tree branch, and have him being burnt alive.
Yeah, that is, yeah, wow.
Like, his strength is ridiculous. And I mean, I could say a lot of things he's done in that movie. And even though it's not technically the same Jason, but if we were to use the Freddy vs. Jason version, he's able to stab someone right through the chest with stub fingers. Like, if he lost the tips of his fingers, but he still stabbed right through Fred Krueger's chest with nubby fingers. I don't know about you, but that sounds physically impossible.
He could have used his left hand.
True, but he was preoccupied holding Freddy while he did it.
Yeah.
But still, though, I don't know how he did it, but even if that was the same Jason, which I don't think it technically is, but even if that was the same Jason, that is ridiculous strength.
So, what's the conclusion on strength?
Well, I mean, well, Jason seems to be able to lift 200-pound people with minimal effort. But it is specified if Michael struggled to lift that 1,000-pound tombstone or not.
Right, it hasn't been exactly specified.
Yeah, because people can say, oh, he dragged it, like he was just pulling it. Or some people say, no, he was just lifting it casually like it was a book. Yeah, you could literally say anything, because you don't really see him do it in the movie, do you?
No, you don't.
It's just that he finds the gravestone, picks it up, and he's just like, boop! Yeah, it's on her bed.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard. It's hard. I would love to say Jason's stronger, but it almost sounds like Michael's stronger. But seeing how the way his tombstone feat is unspecified how he did it, it's kind of possibly an even match.
Yeah, let's put it in an even.
Because these two are both ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
They almost could be brothers.
No.
Just kidding. Okay, so here's a different one. And this, oh, people are gonna get a laugh out of this one. It's Speed.
Oh, Speed?
Yeah,
well,
this is not gonna be an easy one to discuss. See how these two don't really demonstrate good amounts of speed in their movies. They're pretty slow.
Well, Michael, the advantage of actually being able to, despite even though he's just walking at a normal pace, he still manages to catch up with his prey.
That is impressive, and I would like to say Jason kind of has the same luck or ability. Like, he always seems to catch up with anyone regardless of how fast they're running away from him.
Actually, in the reboot of Friday the 13th, you can see him sprint.
Oh yeah, I was just literally about to mention that. There's a scene where he actually legit runs after someone, and this dude looks like he's bolting it.
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, does he do some laps around Crystal Lake when no one's looking?
It's from running from bears.
Why would he run from bears when we could probably kill him with his bare hands?
No,
Get
because...
Get it? Bare hands?
Oh. No, right?
Anywho, yeah, he does seem like he's in the remake version, which I am using, by the way, not any other version. As much as I would love to use different versions, most of the other versions is him as a zombie. But anyway, in the remake version, he does seem to be actually not only sprinting, but not only keeping up with the person running away, but seemingly going faster than they are. And I know when you think it, how does someone as muscular as Jason Voorhees keep up with someone as skinny as like those teenagers he always kills? You'd be surprised. Like, you would be legit surprised how fast muscular people can run.
Well, actually, depending on the size of their muscles, they can't exactly run very fast.
True, but Jason doesn't seem to be, like, top heavy. He seems to be muscular all around himself.
I think he actually, like, is at the ideal, like, scaling between being very athletic and having some muscle, so he's muscular.
Yep. He's not exactly a bodybuilder, but holy crap does he have, like, the strength of one.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not be able to outrun people like Usain Bolt, but fuck me if he's the fastest version of Jason we've had so far.
Yeah, he is really fast.
So, who does this go to?
Well, I would say, I think we should give this to Jason.
Yeah, cause I've not seen the remake or the original, but no one's ever mentioned a time when Michael Myers has actually run or ran anywhere.
Well, he did run in the remake, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, and sadly, in the original one, even though I've not seen it properly, there's no mention of him running anywhere.
Right.
Even though it would be a lot more logical than just casually walking everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on, Michael. I know you're trying to look scary by just walking, but come on, dude. You ever heard of jogging?
Right.
So yeah, thanks to the one scene where Jason literally bolts it through the forest, Jason manages to take this win.
He does.
Okay, next one. Technically both of them don't actually have powers, so that's thrown into the bin. So fighting?
Fighting?
Yeah, like maybe not exactly martial arts, but how they fight, and what we could almost attribute it to. That was hard to say.
I don't know about that one.
Finding undecidable or unrecognizable.
Yes, let's put it on that.
Yeah, these dudes, they're not really known for being like actual fighters. Anything, they know how to throw maybe a decent punch, but doesn't everyone?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When you're a kid, at one point in your life, you're randomly gonna swing your arm at someone, and something's gonna happen.
Yeah, something is gonna happen.
But yeah, so fighting is not really something we can fully discuss, as they don't really show actual proper fighting.
Right.
So, alright, and weapons. This is where it's gonna get good.
If we're only gonna stick with one weapon, then we're gonna give Jason Voorhees his machete and Michael Myers his kitchen knife.
AKA the Bowie knife. Wait.
Yep.
So the first knife he picks up just happens to be called the Bowie knife. That is super lucky.
Yeah. Well, I think he did pick it up from a hardware store.
Huh. So yeah. I mean, these two could probably use any bit of equipment, but if we were to use just one, we have to go with the most iconic weapons, and everyone knows Jason's is his machete. Yes, in the original version, he has used other weapons, and he can use other weapons even in the remake. Everyone knows Jason Voorhees is the masked guy with a big machete.
Exactly.
So, here's the problem. So here's like a sort of a three-parter part. Who has the better weapon, who uses the weapon better, and how many people have they killed with said weapon.
Right, and what do you think?
Well, Jason's machete, no one can really tell if it's sharp or blunt, but by the look of it, and all the times he's probably used it, I'm gonna say it's blunt by now, and I don't think Jason knows how to sharpen it, as, well, he could probably figure it out, but he's probably never learned how to do it.
He actually has.
Actually? Has he? Huh. Well,
there was like a scene, the remake of Friday the 13th, where where he actually sharpens his machete.
Well, blow me down, I was wrong. So, okay, so he does sharpen it, maybe occasionally. Like, maybe he's like, okay, it's getting really blunt now, maybe I should sharpen it. Yeah, I'll sharpen it after I kill this person.
Okay.
So, so sharpness doesn't really matter in this point, because they both equally have a sharp weapon. Now, but which weapon is better? Well, we have to kind of do the other points to kind of get to the answer of the first point, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So who uses the weapon better? That is tough. Jason does seem to use it pretty effectively. Like he's able to cut through people easily. He's able to thrust it through people and trees. He uses it for, that's all he uses it for. Cutting, and more cutting, and a bit of thrusting.
Right.
But the funny thing is, the machete was designed originally for helping to cut through trees, and then was redesigned to kill and chop wild animals.
Yeah, so I think we're going to give the point to Jason.
Yeah, well, Michael, if they got really close, Michael might have more advantage with his knife, but as soon as there's any distance, and Jason might have a better advantage with the fact that his weapon is a lot bigger.
Yeah, it is.
Like, his machete is like nearly 2 feet tall, and I don't know exactly how long Michael's Bowie knife is, but according to a video I watched where someone recreated the knife, like they made the knife, it apparently measured only at 8 inches in length. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if it is only 8, even 10 inches long, if you include the handle, that's still shorter than a foot. And Jason's machete has been. People argue about this. People say it's smaller than 2 feet. Some say it's bigger. I would actually say it's almost exactly 2 feet long, from the tip to the back of the handle.
For the ladies.
I see what you did there. So yeah, Jason definitely has a lot of distance on his side thanks to his machete.
Yeah, he does.
But here's the third point. How many people in the one movie with using them from did they kill with said weapon?
Well, I think Michael Myers basically used a knife throughout the entire movie that he's been in.
So, but how many people did he kill with it?
I think it was between 5 or 6, or maybe even lower.
Well, the funny thing is about the remake, it was kind of a 2-story kind of thing. Like, first there was like one group of teenagers, then there was an entirely new group afterwards. And let's say, in the first group, he burned one girl, and, he stabbed one dude who was stuck in a bear trap, killed a dude by chopping off his ear with his machete, most likely, and then he stabbed another person through the chest and then through the tree trunk. So far, that's 3, and then in the second group, he killed a guy with a pig hook, I think that was the Chinese dude, unless I'm mistaken, but I could swear he killed him by stabbing with a small weapon. So no kill there. The dude that has sex with that girl, I think, he chopped him. The girl that he had sex with, he chopped her as well. So far, that's 5. And then, I don't know what he did to that one girl who was in the tunnel, but more than likely, he stabbed her with his machete. More than likely.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of even. They both killed the same amount of people in their movies.
Yeah, they did.
So, they both can use their weapons just as equally as effectively, but who really does better with it? Jason seems to be seems to be an expert already using the damn thing. In fact, in the movie, he seems to be an expert using everything he has his hands on.
So he's adaptable with weapons.
And I don't know how good Michael is. He's probably pretty good, but he's probably like no command. He's like no army commander with that knife, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
He's just mostly focused on stabbing. That's just it. Just stabbing.
Or slitting.
Oh, so he does know how to cut people.
Uh-huh.
Well, at least he's got that. So, who does this go to, realistically? I mean, in long distance, it would kind of go to Jason, but if it got short distance, Michael has a bit more of an advantage.
I guess it depends on which of the kills were the most effective.
Okay, if Jason managed to get a good full big swing on Michael, I think that would, and it actually connected, that would probably be it. Michael would probably be dead by either decapitation or just the fact that the machete might end up like in the middle of his chest.
Right.
If Jason managed to pull off that big swing. If he misses and Michael gets closer to Jason, then Michael could stab Jason in the head or the heart, killing him pretty easily too.
Right, so what do you think?
It could really go either way, really. But I don't know, it just feels like Jason is I don't know. I don't know. Jason seems to be an expert with anything he picks up, but that being said, this is tough because I want to say Jason would be able to predict what Michael's gonna do because he might be smarter, but I don't know if any of them are smarter than the other.
I think they're both equally smart.
Yeah. So this is really tough. Jason rarely misses his mark though when he swings, and he doesn't always do a big swing. Most of the time he can do a small one and it almost instant kills a person.
Yeah.
And also arguably, if he didn't swing, instead he thrusted his machete into Michael, that could probably be it for Michael.
Yeah, it could be so.
And Michael could try and stab at Jason as many times as he wants around Jason's chest. It's not going to affect him too much, as the dude in that movie got stabbed quite a fair bit, and he was like, "Is that all?"
So we're gonna give it to Jason.
All right. So is there any other category we should bring up?
Oh yeah, special abilities.
Okay, Jason seems to have a natural feel of his environment, especially him how he's lived in Camp Crystal Lake basically his whole life. Outside of it, he's okay in random places. He seems to instantly know what he's doing, regardless of wise decision or not. And the dude seems to be a pretty good strategist, as he does set bear traps and stuff for people, instead of just going in machete swinging. He does use his brains and act like a hunter.
The same goes for Michael Myers.
He sets traps too?
No, he doesn't set trap. He sort of just stealthily kills people one by one.
Ah, so in a way, he's kind of like a silent assassin, almost like a ninja.
Basically, yeah.
Jason has killed a few people without anyone else noticing, but he's not very stealthy about it. Most of the time, the person he kills ends up seeing him, but they die anyway.
Yeah.
So this is rather hard. It's a hunter versus someone who's like a silent assassin.
Like, Jason could have hunted down, like, Michael Myers.
But here's the thing. If we were just to both plop them in this random forest in Canada, and they both didn't have any prep time, Jason wouldn't really have time to set up a trap, regardless of how slow Michael is. Michael would easily see Jason setting up a trap. He's not that dumb.
Right.
So, if they had no prep time, it would be just really down to them using their strength and overbearing skills against each other, and seeing who gets the lucky shot with their weapons. But if given prep time, there's the different argument. If they both have prep time, they like both maybe got a glance at each other, or both knew somehow learned about each other, or were told about each other. If given prep time, there lies a question. Who would win then if they both knew about each other and both prepared ahead of time?
I think without prep time, just for the fact that Jason Voorhees is really durable, and that he's willing to get hurt just to get an advantage, I think we're gonna have to give this to Jason.
Okay, but if given prep time, who would win then? Because remember, as I said, Jason does set traps, kind of like a hunter.
I would still say it'd be Michael Myers.
Really? Do you reckon he'd be able to predict that Jason might have set a trap or something?
Yeah, but here's one thing about Michael Myers, is that he's a stalker.
No, I mean, like, they both know about each other, so, I don't know, maybe someone gives them a bio card of each other, and they briefly read up, and they're like, okay, I'm going in the forest, I'm gonna kill him, bye-bye.
Yeah, I think Michael Myers would win in that one.
So, if given prep time, even with the fact that Jason is a hunter type character, Michael would be able to somehow weave his way around some preset traps.
Yeah, he has outsmarted people before.
Fair enough. So, no prep time, it would go to Jason, but given prep time, as cunning as Jason is being like a hunter, Michael is no idiot. He probably could see a random male bear trap, even if it were completely covered with leaves. He'd be like, wait a minute, I see that.
Yeah, he would.
I mean, these guys may come across as dumb, but they're not idiots. They're smarter than they look. So in terms of, this is hard. So, due to special abilities, it's kind of an even match somewhat, depending on prep time.
Yeah, it's an even match.
Okay, so is that everything, or is there another category we should bring up?
I think that's everything.
Okay, so let's tally up the score. Strength, we decided was even. Speed went to Jason. Fighting wasn't really a factor, as none of them really knew anything. weapons kind of went to Jason, as he has a slightly better weapon, arguably. And then their special abilities was even. So what does the tally add up to then?
Jason won.
And now, before you guys go in the comments like, oh, you're being just totally biased to the new version of Jason, and it's kind of unfair because the remake version is like Rambo. Yes, I will admit that the new version is like Rambo, but to be fair, that is the better version of Jason. And as much as the remake looks interesting, if someone like Skyward, who's a big horror fan like me, says it sucks, then you know it's not good.
And to be fair, it was a bit of a close match.
Yeah, Michael has some things over Jason. If they were short distance, Michael would probably stab Jason a whole lot. And Jason, in the original part 2 to 4, technically died of blood loss. The new one technically didn't die, but he can be killed as he is human. But then again, to be fair, Jason has a lot of ways he can kill Michael as well. But even with the fact that they're both equal in special abilities and strength, it's Jason's unbelievable speed for even his character and his slightly better weapons, what gives him this slight advantage over Michael Myers.
Exactly, yeah.
And also, not to mention, Jason's a lot taller than the original version of Michael Myers.
Yeah, he really is.
Like, apparently, according to what you said, Skyward, the original Michael Myers was about 5'10", and the remake Jason is about 6'5".
Yeah, that is huge.
I mean, my dad's about 5'10", and I'm only about 6'3" myself, and yet to some people I think I tower over him. I don't say tower, but I definitely see the height difference.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's like, what's a good comparison? I mean, Michael's 5'10", which is the average size of an average man, and Jason is about the size of an average basketball player. He's 6'5". If not a basketball player, then at least a wrestler.
So basically, he's a really tall guy.
Yep. Now, I know you're thinking, but height isn't everything. That is true, but I don't know about you. Even if I was Michael Myers, if I saw a 6'5" hulking man in a hockey mask, I'd shit my pants.
Yeah, you would.
I mean, I know Michael Myers is bonkers as all hell, but I bet even he would be slightly concerned about looking at Jason.
Right, he would.
But then again, there might be a brief moment where he's like, okay, that dude's rather scary looking. But then he instantly be like, fuck it, I'll just kill him anyway. I mean, the dude is a nutter, so he'd care for a second, then he'd just instantly go to murder mode. Whereas Jason, he's always in murder mode. Well, kind of. He's in murder mode when people are near his camp. When they're not, he's just chilling. I wonder to myself, those teenagers always bring drinks and random food. Do you reckon he ever opens one of those cans of beers?
Who knows?
I don't know about you, but Jason looks like a man who drinks himself a good can of lager. I mean, he looks like a guy who has a stiff drink, something like whiskey. Yeah, can you imagine that? A drunk Jason?
jeez. That'd be a short movie.
But regardless, this match was really close, but it seems that despite many other people's beliefs, Jason Voorhees takes his victory home.
He does.
Now, if we were to compare the original Jason to the original Michael, I don't know how the battle would go, but I feel like Michael would maybe be better than that version of Jason.
Yeah, he would.
I mean, he had more weapons, sure, but I don't know. It was just, yeah. The remake version is just better regardless, anyway.
It is.
Like,
it really is.
To me, I feel like he's the definitive Jason. Like, he is just menacing.
We could have had a better movie, but we had a perfect Jason.
You had to sacrifice some things to get something good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the movie, bit lackluster, but the character, spot on.
Indeed.
Like, every second he was on the screen. Like, seriously, I always flippin' have chills whenever I saw him in the remake version. He was just fucking menacing looking.
He was scary, baby.
Yeah. But regardless of that, thank you guys so much for watching this special Who Would Win video.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working on this one with my buddy.
Yeah, we're buddies. If you guys want us to do some more horror-based battles, then leave it in the comments below. And if you want us to do a seasonal one, like for Christmas, then leave it in the comments below. And we might make this a regular, everyday thing. Like, we'll make one based on certain holidays, or something having to do with the holidays. But even if it's not to do with the holidays, leave it in the comments below. We want your comments. Also, make sure you look in the description below for my link to my special list of future Who Will Win videos I'm planning to do.
Alright.
But also, in the description below, you will find a link to Skyward's channel.
Yeah, that's where I am.
If you ever wanted to hear someone be a awesome voice actor, by the way, then look on his channel, because he is superb.
And as of right now, I'm actually planning on making a compilation video of all the voices I can do, including new ones I developed while working with my buddies.
Oh yeah, a compilation. Now that is one of my favorite things in anything. Compilation movies, compilation games, compilation videos on YouTube. That is my jam.
Yep.
So we thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and enjoying this. If you guys had different opinions on how the battle would go, then leave in the comments below. I would like to see your thoughts, but do not go on a hate rant. Otherwise, I'll just basically delete it, because I'm not gonna listen to you if you're just gonna be an asshole.
Yeah, just don't, okay?
But if you ever want us to do a different version, completely different versions, like, as hard as may be, the zombies versions of these characters, then leave in the comments below.
Okay.
As hard as that may be, if you leave in the comments, we'll try and do it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
I mean, it'd be like pinning Deadpool against a different version of Deadpool.
Yeah.
But regardless, guys, if you liked this video, leave a like, and also leave a comment. Just subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Skyward's channel. Also, click the notification bell, the notification bell on both our channels so you know exactly when we upload a new video. So make sure you share it with all your friends.
So, until then,
happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye bye.